Chapter 128, Sudden Luck. Outside Zhenan City, Gu Hai's order of the generals and millions of ghosts defeated broken armies, less miserables, and millions of zither figurines. The war ended. From within Zhenan City, a large number of strong people flew out to clean up the battlefield. And on top of a flying boat, a large number of troops were carried to hunt down the other living people in the broken armies' camp. Bronze Man is a war-killing weapon, but cannot easily fall in the hands of others. Especially this time a big battle, the understanding of the Bronze Man is more intuitive. The most elite army was responsible for packing up the Bronze Men. Gu Hai wasn't idle either, but headed to the battlefield and picked up the pieces of the broken army. The broken army was already in pieces into a field of broken corpses. The elite army came over and was quite polite to Gu Hai. After all, Gu Hai could be the first to take credit for this great battle. Gu Hai picked through the broken body of the broken army, but no one dared to obstruct. Placing the broken army's body in a coffin, Gu Hai explained about the millions of ghosts, took out the white cloud flying boat, and headed towards Zhenan City. Swoosh! The flying boat quickly arrived at Zhenan City. "Master, I'm awesome, right?" Gu Chen jumped over excitedly. "Mr. Gu, thanks to you this time," Sima Changkong laughed. Gu Hai nodded and looked at Master Liu Nian. "Where is Longwanyu?" Master Liu Nian smiled bitterly and said, "Gu Hai, luckily there is you. Longwanyu is fine. Just being brought back by Gu Chen's lifting line. He went crazy and desperately called for someone to save you. I had no choice but to let him sleep for a while. He's now resting at the back." Going crazy and desperately calling for someone to save herself. Gu Hai revealed a warm smile. Although Longwanyu was capricious, her heart was not bad. "It's good to be fine." Gu Hai smiled faintly. At this moment, the Divine Martial King slowly walked over. "Mr. Gu." The Divine Martial King smiled faintly. "Grand Marshal." The surrounding crowd saluted. "Greetings, Grand Marshal." Gu Hai smiled faintly. "What a powerful general order. In this battle, Mergu can make another great achievement." The Divine Martial King laughed. "You're welcome, Marshal. It's just luck," Gu Hai politely said. "1 million bronze men need to be handed over to the Holy Lord for dispatch. You broken army corpses." Divine Martial King looked towards Gu Hai. Gu Hai flipped his hand to open the lid of the coffin that stored the broken army's corpse. Inside, the broken army's corpse had long been in pieces, looking at the crowd with a slight frown. "The broken army is in pieces. Don't worry, Marshal," Gu Hai laughed. After saying that, he flipped his hand and put away the broken army corpse with one hand. The Divine Martial King smiled and didn't say anything. "This time, Mergu has made a great achievement. I need to report it to His Holiness." As for the repertoire of the General's order, Divine Martial King towards Gu Hai. "No harm done. It's just one piece." Gu Chen passed the complete repertoire to the Marshal later. Gu Hai looked towards Gu Chen and said, "Oh." Gu Chen nodded indifferently. When the General's order was played, it was no longer a secret. The General's zither player would have memorized it, just describing it again to prevent any omissions in general. "In that case, thank you, Mr. Gu." The Divine Martial King smiled slightly. "Marshal is polite. Now that the broken army has been defeated, it is the right time to ride on the victory. The Marshal has a lot of work to do in the day, so I won't bother you much." Gu Hai smiled. The Divine Martial King nodded and left the city tower. As Gu Hai had said, this was the moment when the major legions were striking with all their might. The Divine Martial King still had many things to arrange. In the army, the blood always too strong, for fear of hurting those ghosts. Let them stay far away. These ghosts, having been melted down by Ma Dongfang, are now unable to reincarnate into the next life. I don't know if Mr. Sima and Master Lionian have a way to let them reincarnate in the netherworld, Gu Hai solemnly said. Oh, Sima Changkong's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked into the distance. These are the armies that died in the battle between the two armies and were given to Mr. Dongfang by Liu Yong to melt, Gu Hai explained. There are Liu Yang's armies. Mr. Sima's eyes lit up. Not bad, but Sima can ask for their help to go over to Liu Yang's army and spread the news of Liu Yang's cold-bloodedness in order to lose the hearts of the servants of the great Ying dynasty. But after that, I hope to give them a good home, Gu Hai solemnly said. Ha 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 ha, Mergu, this, the great Ying imperial dynasty, from start to finish, is almost all broken by you all. As soon as these ghosts show their faces in front of Liu Yang's army is disheartened. Good, good, good. Sima Changkong said 3 good in a row. Gu Hai, don't worry, I can transcend them, so that they can be reincarnated, Grandmaster Lunian explained. Then I'll be grateful to you, Grandmaster. Gu Hai nodded. Just, Grandmaster Liu Nian looked at Gu Hai expectantly. Gu Hai had a slight pang of bitterness. Grandmaster's heart is with Long Xiaoyu, but unfortunately, alas, Gu Hai said, the news he got from Mr. Dongfang, Long Xiaoyu's heavenly soul and earthly soul had been destroyed, and her human soul was even shattered, and was forcibly pieced together. Ha, Master Liu Nian folded his hands together, and looked up at the sky, revealing a sad smile. Without speaking, 2 lines of clear tears slipped from the corner of his eyes. Twisting his head, he walked away with disinterest, leaving behind a sullen back. The 2 loves are not destined for each other in this life. The green lamp and the ancient Buddha accompany the passing years. Sima Changkong sighed slightly. Gu Hai sighed slightly. Gu Hai returned to his mansion, found Mu Chunfang, explained something to him, and headed to Long Wanyu's mansion. Mergu, the subordinates of Long Wanyu's residence respectfully said. How is the county princess? Gu Hai looked at the man. County mistress is all fine. She's just asleep, only that she keeps calling out for Mr. in her dreams, that subordinate respectfully said. Oh. Gu Hai saw Long Wanyu on the bed in the room, under the guidance of the people. Long Wanyu was asleep, but her face was filled with panic. Sister, mother, I'm scared. Sister, when are you coming back? Long Wanyu's sleeping face carried a hint of panic. Gu Hai sighed slightly. When will Wanqing come back? He himself didn't know. Brother-in-law. Long Wanyu suddenly woke up with a steep shriek. As she shrieked, she was covered in cold sweat, and the moment she woke up, she jumped up. Quickly save my brother-in-law. Quickly, save my brother-in-law. Someone come. Someone come. Long Wanyu screamed in terror. After screaming twice, she suddenly realized that she was in her room. Long Wanyu was slightly stunned, but still full of anxiety. She twisted her head and was about to rush out, just in time to see Gu Hai standing not far away with a smile on his face. You're... Long Wanyu steeply shrieked in shock. Long Wanyu, you're finally willing to call me brother-in-law. Gu Hai laughed. Long Wanyu rubbed her eyes, and after she was finally sure that it was Gu Hai, a great joy appeared on her face. However, just as she was about to smile, she felt that she couldn't wipe her face. Humph! Who called you brother-in-law? Long Wanyu immediately puffed out her mouth and said with a stern face. After saying that, she even stole a glance at Gu Hai. All right, seeing that you're fine, I'm relieved. In the future, if you feel a great evil again, avoid it from afar and don't try to be strong. Gu Hai laughed. It's up to you, me. A wave of regret flashed in Long Wanyu's eyes. Sister, brother-in-law, how did you escape? Long Wanyu finally shouted out brother-in-law. Thanks to this token of yours. Gu Hai laughed. Mine. Long Wanyu revealed a trace of bewilderment. This is it. Your father left it to you. Gu Hai took out the black jade talisman. Originally, Long Wanyu was still in a great mood, but the black jade talisman she looked at instantly made her mood worse. He's not my father. I don't have this father. Gu Hai smiled slightly bitterly, but, after all, it saved me. I don't want it. I don't want it. It saved you. So leave it to you. I don't want it. I don't want anything from him, Long One Yu stubbornly said. Gu Hai gave a slight bitter smile and nodded. All right. Then I'll keep it for you for now. Gu Hai stayed in Jinan City for a few days. Master Liu Nian regulated his mood and helped some of the ghosts to transcend, and some of the military souls of the former Liu Yong army. But they were used by Sima Changkong to dishearten the enemy army. Gao Xianzi led the 6th Legion and officially led the army into battle. Gu Hai was sitting in his small courtyard, rearranging the 30 heavenly and earthly chess games, and Long One Yu came to disturb him from time to time. This day, Long One Yu came again. Brother-in-law, you and my sister, how did you know each other in the first place? You tell me about it. Gu Hai put down his chess pieces and was about to explain with a smile when, abruptly, Gu Hai's face changed. Rumble. Suddenly, in the sky above Gu Hai's small courtyard, out of nowhere came rolling endless chi luck, which surged wildly and rushed straight to Gu Hai. Rolling chi luck, tumbling over the small courtyard, induced countless people in Jinan City to reveal their astonishment. The Divine Martial King and Sima Changkong were talking about the situation on the front line, when they suddenly saw rolling yellow clouds surging in the distance. Chi luck, this is converging on the ancient sea mansion. Divine Martial King was surprised. Where did this much chi luck come from? Sima Changkong was also surprised. In the middle of the small courtyard, Long One Yu watched in amazement as Gu Hai flipped his hand and took out the Heavenly Zhen Divine Seal, rapidly absorbing this chi luck that had suddenly come. The chi luck that came out of nowhere caused Gu Hai to be slightly stunned, and as he was receiving the chi luck, he vaguely heard a voice. Shenlu Imperial Dynasty people, I Huangfu Chaoguo are ashamed of your trust, resulting in all of you these years living in fear. Many disasters. Huangfu Chaoguo incompetent. Shenlu Imperial Dynasty also do not know how long I can hold on. I'm not a competent emperor. I'm not far away from the day of the end of the day. Shenlu Imperial Dynasty is in the center of the war. The next time will certainly more and more chaotic. Today, in the end of my days, to make the following arrangements. Entrusted to the country in the ancient sea of the Great Han Dynasty is my incompetence, war and chaos. May the ancient sea of the Great Han Dynasty can take you on a happy and stable. Divine Foothills Imperial Dynasty's people, I will dialogue with you all for the last time. I am ashamed of you all. Your Majesty, we only honor you. Emperor, don't. What are we going to do if you leave? Emperor, you can't leave us behind. Hearing the voices mixed in with the chi, Gu Hai's face changed, and he stood up. Brother-in-law, where did this chi luck come from? How did it all converge to you together? So much. Long One Yu was surprised. Huangfu Chaoj, the day of the great death, is not far away. On the verge of death. Hiss. Divine Foothills Dynasty. Something big has happened. Gu Hai's face changed.